I want to start this video off by saying this. A lot of people misconstrue the term simp. Okay, they use that word synonymously with showing any type of interest or affection towards a romantic interest. And I want to dispel that notion, before I get into my personal experiences with simping. Okay, just because you tell a girl that you like her, or you buy her flowers, or you take her out on dates, that's not simping. Okay, that has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. To an extent, it does, but for the most part, it doesn't. Okay, that's just typical interest. You're showing interest and affection towards somebody that you want to pursue a romantic relationship with. Or maybe you just want, intercourse with them. Whatever you're looking for. Okay, you're working towards that goal. Understand that that is not a bad thing. Do not let anybody tell you that you're a simp for showing affection or interest. If somebody says that, the chances are they're not getting any themselves. And that's why they're projecting their insecurities about that onto you. Now, in my opinion, and in my experience, simping is when you go above and beyond. Okay, you go above and beyond to receive the bare minimum in return. Okay, so for example, maybe you're flying a girl out, okay, first class, just so that she'll spend time with you. Okay, doing things like that, that is simping. That is simping to its fullest capacity. If you have to do all of that for a girl to show interest in you, you need to leave her alone. Okay, quit while you're ahead. I'm trying to save you guys a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of pain. Okay, because simping never ends well. I can personally attest to this. Now, with that being said, I want to go through some of my personal simping experiences because I've built up quite the resume. Okay, I believe that I am in the simping Hall of Fame. I'm Hall of Fame worthy. Okay, I am a 99 overall. I acquired all the badges, Hall of Fame. Okay, I know what I'm talking about with this. Now, whether or not I'm in the greatest of all time debate, that's another discussion for another day. Okay, but I was definitely a simp. I was a simp. Okay, and I'm not afraid to admit it, and you'll see why later on in the video. Because I do believe that simping is actually, in retrospect, a good thing, believe it or not. Now, okay, this all started back in probably high school. Or, that whole period from the time I was born to the time I graduated high school. Okay, basically for those first 17 years of my life, I did not get any type of female attention. None. Okay, none. I maybe had a few girls tell me that they liked me, things like that. I never pursued those situations. For what reason, I have absolutely no clue. I guess, in retrospect, I felt like I wasn't worthy of a relationship because, I didn't have that confidence in myself. So I wasn't ready to embrace the blessings that potentially were coming my way. And, obviously everything's worked out for me in the long run anyways. But that's something that some of you guys might be going through as well, and maybe you need to do some self-analysis about that. But that's besides the point. Anyways, I didn't get any type of female attention beyond, maybe the occasional girl having a crush on me every few years. Okay, so after high school, that's when I had my glow up. 2019, I was a late bloomer. Okay, even though I had already hit puberty, I was a very late bloomer, and you can see it throughout my videos. Even from 2019, I still had my glow up. I'm still glowing up right now. But, that was when I became more physically attractive and I started to find more confidence within myself as well. Okay, and because of that, I decided to put myself out there. Now, I've gone more in depth about my experiences and how I got started dating with my Tinder video. So I'm going to skip that part and just go girl by girl, okay? Because my dating history isn't very extensive. The girl that I'm dating right now is actually my first girlfriend, believe it or not. And before her, there were 4 girls. So I'm gonna go through each and every girl and just explain some of the things that I did. Because like I said, my resume speaks for itself. So the first girl, okay, this was the girl that I met doing a Tinder Tuesday video. Now, with that girl, okay, this was just one big miscommunication. I went into that situation with absolutely no knowledge at all about dating. Okay, I didn't understand the dynamics of the talking stage and progressing from there into a relationship. I didn't know what the talking stage was. I had never heard of that before. Okay, so going into this situation, and you guys have to understand, I met this girl while doing a Tinder Tuesday video. So you already know that my first interactions with her, I was saying the most out-of-pocket stuff. I was going above and beyond, not so much for her interest, but for the entertainment value. It was just funny at the time. But, I allowed myself to progress to that next stage where we started going on dates. And after the first date, I realized this feels pretty good. Going out with the girl. I had never been on a date before. I was 19 years old. So for me to go out with a girl, especially a girl that I found physically attractive and seemed like, we were on that same type of vibe. It seemed like we both were mentally in the same space, which come to find out we weren't, which I'll get into in a second. But it felt very good. It was a very euphoric feeling. Okay, your first date, it's memorable, either in a very good way or a very bad way. And in my case, it was a very good way. And I remember I bought flowers for her. I brought them to, her house on the first date. And, we went to a haunted house. It was great. Okay, the date was cool. But after that, things started to fall apart. And here's how. Okay, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know that the talking stage was even a thing. So in my mind, I'm getting ready to ask this girl out after one date. Okay, and I know some people are cringing when they hear that, but like I said, I just didn't know. Okay, I was moving from a place of ignorance. So anyways, me and this girl are talking, and I'm thinking in my mind, okay, I'm gonna make this girl my girlfriend. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to go about, asking her out or making things official or whatever, because I'm just now finding out the talking stage exists. But, that was where my mind was. So what I did, because I was too scared to just ask her, was I started to drop more hints, and I started to kind of, apply pressure a little bit. And because of that, she started to withdraw. I noticed she started to distance herself. Now, I didn't understand why this was happening. Okay, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe, she's just playing hard to get. And one thing about me is that I'm a very persistent person. Okay, so if I see something that I want, or there's a feeling that I'm striving for, I'm going to keep going after that feeling. Okay, I'm not going to let anything stop me from achieving that feeling. So, eventually she began to pick up on what was happening, and I guess she thought that I understood, that we were supposed to be casual because we met through Tinder Tuesdays, and, I can't blame her for that. That's the vibe that I gave off. So she went into this situation thinking that we were going to be casual. In my mind, I'm looking to make this girl my girlfriend. That did not work out. Okay, one thing that I learned from that situation is that if two people have different intentions, quit while you're ahead. It's okay to quit sometimes. Okay, I'm a very persistent person, but it is okay to quit sometimes. But anyways, like I said, that situation did not work out. But, to make matters worse, even after she told me that she was looking for something casual, me knowing that I wanted a relationship, I wasn't ready to let go. So what did I do? I decided I'll wait until she is ready to be in a relationship. Now, understand that the worst thing you can do, literally the worst thing you can do to yourself in terms of your mental and emotional health, is to wait on somebody. Do not ever do that, because when you wait on somebody, you think in your mind that you have faith, but in reality, that shows that you have no faith whatsoever. If you and that person are meant to be together, you shouldn't have to wait for them. You simply live your life, and whatever happens, happens. But me, I didn't have the courage nor the faith to live like that. So what did I do? I decided to wait for her, and I ended up getting my feelings hurt. Now, I have no shame in admitting that. Like I said, that was my first L, my first time putting myself out there. It is what it is. But because it was my first time and my first heartbreak, I guess you could say, I didn't understand that you're supposed to give yourself time to heal from that. So what did I do? Okay, literally the same exact day that me and this girl stopped talking. I can't make this up. The same exact day I got back on Tinder and Bumble. And I started swiping on everyone. Okay, I was swiping on all types of girls. Now, probably within a week, I was talking to another girl. Okay, now, this girl right here, I'm not going to say that she was a gold digger, but she was kind of a gold digger. Okay, if that makes sense. Now, the reason why I don't just want to put that label on her is because maybe I took things out of context. It might be a cultural thing. she does come from, a foreign background. So maybe, she just sees things a little differently than me. And I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But what I do know is that in the few times that I did hang out with that girl, okay, probably like 3 dates that I went on with her, I was in the hole like probably $250. Okay, because she did not believe in splitting the bill on dates. Now, you guys have to understand, okay, I am a firm believer that you're supposed to split the bill on dates, especially if it's a stranger. I had that belief before I met her. She only solidified that belief because ever since her, I told myself I am never going to pay for the first date ever again. And I've stayed true to that. I've stuck with that. I've stood by my principles through thick and thin. Now, okay, we went on a few dates and like I said, I ended up in the hole like a few $100s because we're going to main event. Okay, if you guys don't know what main event is, it's basically like a arcade type of thing where you can also bowl, and it's a very cool place to go, very fun place to go. But I paid for both of us, okay, and it's expensive. It's an expensive place. And not only that, but the points that I won, okay, because when you play the games, you win points. I gave my points to her. Now, why I did that, I have absolutely no clue to this day. That's just another example of me going above and beyond for the bare minimum in return, just so that this girl would spend time with me. And one trend that I noticed through all of these girls that I'm talking about in this video is that it was very difficult for me to get them to go out with me, to spend time with me. Now, whether that's because they didn't like me or, maybe it's because they liked me too much and didn't want commitment. I don't know. Okay, I can't speak for them. But what I can say is that that's a trend that I've noticed. And because of my persistence, I couldn't let go. Now, anyways, okay, back to girl number 2. That's what we're going to call her. Okay, girl number 2, that didn't work out very well. It didn't work out at all. And I think the main turning point, from what I can remember, I was at work. Okay, I was working at H&M at the time. I was doing inventory, actually. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. Okay, so I'm at work at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, grinding. Okay, doing inventory. Anybody who works retail, you know inventory sucks. Okay, it absolutely sucks. This girl had the audacity to text me and tell me, okay, basically implying that she needs money without actually saying it. But she told me that she was at a club and she didn't have a way to get home. Now, mind you, I'm at work. Okay, so it's not like I can just leave and pick her up. But she's telling me that she can't afford an Uber. But in my mind, I'm thinking, you have a job. Okay, you have a job. I know you have a job. And not only that, but you told me that you were too tired to hang out with me. And now you're at a club. Okay, but that's, a different discussion for a different day. I can go on and on about that. Anyways, okay, that right there, that was kind of the turning point, because that's when I realized that no matter how down bad I am, I'm never going to give a girl money like that. So I told her, like, man, I wish I could help you out, but I'm at work. I can't come pick you up. So she was like, okay, cool, it's fine, whatever. I ended up never seeing that girl again. Okay, thankfully. So grateful for that, because I probably saved thousands of dollars in the long run. But just like with the first girl, I wasn't ready to let go of things that easily. Now, when she ended things, she ended them a little bit differently than the other girl did. Okay, with me and the first girl, things just kind of stopped happening. Like, we just kind of stopped talking. With this girl, she told me that because she was getting 2 jobs, she wouldn't have time to date anymore. Okay, and I took her at her word, because she was actually getting 2 jobs. Okay, she put in the applications and everything. At least I think, I don't know. But she told me that she was too busy to date. And then she blocked me on every social media platform. And I remember I didn't learn my lesson. I didn't learn my lesson from the first time, and I told her, I'll wait until you're ready. I'll wait until you have enough time. And I remember she told me, and I have to give her credit for this, okay? Maybe she's not a truly bad person, because she did tell me this, and this is something that stuck with me. She told me, never wait on somebody, because you never know what the universe might bring you. And honestly, that was a life-changing moment for me. Even though I still didn't take her advice, as you guys will see later on in this video, she planted the seed in my head. And I think that was a major turning point for me in terms of the way that I value my time and my energy. Now, after me and her didn't work out, because like I said, she blocked me on all platforms, I started talking to another girl. Now, this time I let like a month pass in between, and I thought that I had healed. I hadn't. Okay, I hadn't. Which is why I attracted another girl who had some of the same traits as the previous two. Not in terms of being a gold digger or, things like that, but in terms of not wanting to commit to me. Okay, because in retrospect, I didn't want to commit to myself, and I attracted that through other people. Okay, your life is a reflection of your inner state of being. But anyways, I started talking to this other girl, also from Tinder. Now, I've talked a lot about her on my channel, and that's for a reason. This was the catalyst behind my success. I truly stand by that to this day. This situation was the one that truly, finally broke me. Like, I think the other two situations kind of cracked me a little bit, like they were chipping away. This one shattered me. Now, me and this girl met, and I just remember we hit it off extremely well. I'm talking about I had never clicked with somebody like this quickly. And in my mind, I know that, there's a chance that I was just delusional and maybe I was still, searching for that feeling outside of myself. And that's why I grew so attached to her so quickly. But I also think that there was something to that. I think that that girl was supposed to be a part of my life because, like I said, that ended up being the catalyst. And I'm very grateful that this happened. I'm grateful that all of this happened because all of these situations turned me into who I am today. Okay, pain breeds growth. When you go through adversity, when you go through trauma, that allows you the opportunity to go within and develop more self-awareness and grow. But, this situation right here, like I said, this one broke me. Now, me and this girl hit it off extremely well. And, in my mind, I remember thinking, like, this is the one. Like, I'm going to make her mine. Not even just for the short term, but for the long term. And this is even before we went on the first date. Okay, I caught feelings from our very first FaceTime call. Now, because of that, I went in with a different type of energy. With this girl, I fell so quickly and so hard for her that I didn't even have time to process it. I didn't know what I was feeling at the time. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, is this what falling in love feels like? Because I had never really experienced it before. I'd caught feelings, but I had never fallen like this. Okay, this was a whole different level. And, I'm not going to say I was going above and beyond for this girl while we were talking, but I think it was very difficult for me to hide my interest for her and my interest in her, and vice versa. Obviously, I wouldn't invest myself that heavily into somebody that I didn't feel liked me back. Okay, so I'm feeling this connection and this chemistry so quickly that I don't even know how to navigate through it. Okay, because like I said, I'm still finding myself and still finding my identity. So I remember, things were going very, very well. And one day, I'm talking about out of the blue, she just tells me that she's not ready for a relationship. And I was devastated. Like, I had never been this devastated over a girl in my life. Now, even though she said she wasn't ready for a relationship, she told me that we can continue to hang out in the same way that we had been hanging out. Because at this point, we had been on one date. Okay, after one date, I'm already, fully invested into her emotionally. Which, let that be a lesson. Do not do that. Don't fall for somebody after one date. Because you don't really know them after one date. Even if you feel an instant connection, you don't know what's going on in their lives. But that's besides the point. Okay, I fell for her and, that broke me when she told me that she wasn't ready for a relationship. But I had grew so attached to her that I said, if she still wants to hang out with me, that must mean that she still likes me deep down. So what do? I continue hanging out with her. Now, in hindsight, that's one of the biggest mistakes that I ever made. As you can see, I didn't learn my lesson from the previous two situations. When a girl tells me that she's not ready for a relationship, or at least a relationship with me, I should listen and I should keep it moving. But clearly I didn't value my time nor my energy very much. So as we continue hanging out, I'm just falling harder and harder and harder for this girl. Okay, like it's getting to that point where, I'm not gonna say I was delusional, but I had that vision in my mind that I'm gonna make this girl mine. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I just had that type of feeling in me. Now, at a certain point, I realized that I can't keep doing this to myself. I can't keep hanging out with this girl and acting like I don't like her. Because I knew deep down that I did. And I don't like to settle. Okay, I don't want to settle for being just friends or whatever she thought we were if I know that I want more than that. So what did I do? I began to press her. Now, this is when I began to enter my simping prime. This is what put me in that Hall of Fame level. Okay, because I began to do things that I didn't even know I was capable of. For example, I started writing poetry about this girl, and I sent one of them to her. Okay, I sent a poem to her apologizing. I apologized to her after she friend-zoned me. Now, when you talk about down bad, if you looked up that word on Google in March of 2020, my face would have popped up because I was down atrocious. Okay, I was out of there. I'm talking about this was bad. Okay, I put my pride to the side and it didn't stop there. Okay, I wrote a poem for this girl and, like I said in the poem, I was basically apologizing to her for, trying to press the situation or make it into something that she didn't want it to be. Because, of course, like I said, it was hard for me to hide the fact that I liked her. Even though I tried to, I couldn't. I just couldn't. So I sent her the poem, and I'm not going to tell you what she said in response, but I'll just say that from her text message, I knew that I would never see that girl again. And that was like part 2, okay, of me reaching my breaking point. Now, after that, okay, I started to work on myself a little more. And, I just grew really numb. This is when I fell into my red pill phase and, I kickstarted my self-development journey. But throughout that process, I still had moments of weakness. Okay, I still was texting her paragraphs, telling her how much I appreciate her, telling her that I would move mountains to make her happy. Like, I'm talking about things like that. Okay, I was down bad. Okay, down bad. And I'm laughing right now. Okay, it's funny in hindsight, but at the time, I wasn't laughing. Okay, this was not funny at all to me. I was devastated. Like, I was genuinely devastated. But anyways, she basically left me on delivered or read or whatever for like a few months. We had like one interaction where she watched one of my videos after ghosting me. I'm not gonna get into that because I don't want to bring that type of energy back into my life. I don't even want to think about that anymore. But long story short, she ended up ghosting me and that was the end of that. Now, like I said, I'm very grateful that that happened just because that's what forced me to finally look within and figure out what I needed to do to, get to where I want to go in life. Okay, so I started to take YouTube more seriously. I started taking my health more seriously. I was already a pretty good looking dude. I was in shape, all of that. But I started to really focus more on taking care of myself and protecting my energy and only investing my energy into things that I knew would give me the return that I was looking for. Until about August. Okay, now, like I said, that situation with that girl was like early 2020 from like January through about April, May. August 2020 comes around. I decide I'm healed from that situation. I'm ready to put myself back out there. What do? I get back on Tinder. Okay, stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. But I got back on Tinder. I matched with this girl. Okay, now on the surface, this girl seemed like she was everything I was looking for. She's a pretty attractive girl. She's vegan. She's very ambitious. All of that type of stuff. Now, by this time, I have more self-respect. Okay, I know not to invest myself into her emotionally too soon. And I can proudly say that I didn't do that. I didn't catch feelings for this girl. But that doesn't mean that I didn't simp. Okay, and I'm going to explain how. Now, this girl, she had this tendency to flake. Okay, now, I didn't realize how much of a pet peeve this was until she started to do it. I'm talking about she would flake at the last second. Okay, I'm all dressed up, ready to go meet her somewhere. And then she tells me, oh, I can't do it. I fell asleep. Now I have homework to do. Can we just do this some other time? Okay, stuff like that. And then she started flaking on FaceTime calls. Anything that we agreed to do, she would flake. And it would piss me off. Now, every time she did that, it drove me further and further away. In hindsight, I should have let that situation go the very first time she did it. Okay, when people show you who they are, you should pay attention. because she showed me pretty early on who she was. Okay, she's flaky. She's flaky, or at least with me she was. And not only that, but she was just literally a walking red flag. She was still buddy-buddy with her ex and, a bunch of red flags. I'm not going to get into all of them because I don't want to just air her out like that. Not a bad person. Don't get me wrong. Not a bad person, but definitely wasn't the right one for me. But throughout all of that, throughout all of her flakiness, I stuck with her. Why I did that, I have no clue. I have no clue. In hindsight, looking back at the things that I did, I don't even understand why I did a lot of these things. But I guess that's just a testament to how lonely I was at the time, that I was willing to lower my standards to that degree. So even though I wasn't investing myself into her emotionally, I was investing myself into her in terms of my time and my energy. And this was valuable time for me because at this point, YouTube is my full-time job. So any time spent talking to her is time that could be spent talking to you guys via this camera. But like I said, I just was weak-minded. Okay, I was still weak-minded. I was still recovering from the previous situations, and I didn't even realize it. Thought I had healed, but I hadn't. That girl ended up doing me a favor and ghosting me. Because if she hadn't ghosted me, I think I never would have let it go. Because like I said, I'm a persistent, forgiving person. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And that's kind of the main point that I want to drive home in this video. Okay, simping is not inherently a bad thing. And I'm going to explain why. Okay, when you simp over somebody, you are going above and beyond for the bare minimum in return. The problem is that you're putting that energy in the wrong areas. Like I said, persistence, it caused me a lot of pain and a lot of trauma and heartbreak throughout my dating life. But it also brought me a lot of success, prosperity, and abundance in my YouTube career. Okay, once I learned to redirect that energy, redirect that fire and that passion that I had within me towards YouTube, something that is more in my control, something that is entirely dependent upon me, I started to see a lot of success with it because I had that mindset that I'm not going to quit. I see that vision in my head and I don't stop until I get to where I want to go. And, like I said, that mindset has been very conducive to success on YouTube. But when it comes to women, it hasn't gotten me anywhere, and it probably won't get you anywhere either. So if you're somebody who simps, you're somebody who goes above and beyond for the bare minimum in return, the chances are you have the potential to do great things in your life. It's all a matter of redirecting your energy towards something that truly matters, something where you'll receive that return on your investment of time, of energy, of passion. And not only that, but when you simp, what that means is that you're able to put your pride to the side for a chance at success. Okay, so for me to do YouTube, I had to put my pride to the side. Of course, I had fear of failure, fear of people judging me for the things that I was saying or the way that I was saying them. But I had to put my ego to the side and say, I'm going to do this anyways because I have a vision and I'm not going to let anybody or their perceptions of me stop me from achieving that vision. Like I said, it didn't work with girls. When it comes to women, you should find somebody who doesn't make things that challenging. You should find somebody who you flow with. It should be easy. Relationships are supposed to be not so much easy, but they're not supposed to be difficult. They're supposed to flow. Okay, YouTube, even though there is that flowing stage, you also have to put in a lot of work. And that's with anything in life. Any type of goal that you want to reach, you have to put in a lot of work. You have to be persistent. You have to have that never quit, never die mentality. Failure can't exist to you. Rejection can't exist to you. So just like with me waiting for these girls or not taking rejection for an answer, not taking no for an answer, that mindset is what got me to where I am today. Okay, where I can look at this camera and talk to it knowing that there are 68,000 people subscribed to my channel. You have to understand that every rejection that you face takes you closer and closer to the success that you desire. Okay, so every video that flops takes me closer to that next video that's going to go viral. Every rejection that I dealt with in terms of my dating life took me closer and closer to the girl that I'm with now. You have to learn to have faith and redirect your energy. If you're a simp, you have a lot of potential in you. Okay, you have the persistence, you have the fire, you have the ability to put your pride to the side. But what are you going to do with those traits? Are you going to use those traits to, chase after women who don't care about you? Or are you going to use those traits to go out and get what you want out of life and let the women come to you?